Hello everyone and welcome. In this lecture we will see how to use the substitution method to solve a linear system. So if we have a linear system, we can use substitution to get the value of each unknown of this linear system. For example, we have here three equations. So we can start with any of these equations. We can start by the first one or the second one or the third one. So if we, for example, start with this equation, we can get the value of x3 here in function of x2 and x1, and then replace it here to get the value of x2 in function of x1, and then replace the x2 and x3 here to get the value of x1. So for example, start with this equation. We will write to here 2x3 in function of x1 and x2, so it will be 6x1 plus x2 plus 3. So when we divide by 2 here, this will be x3 equals 6 over 2, which is 3x1 plus 1/2 x2 plus 3 over 2. So this is the value of x3 in function of x1 and x2. And to get the value of x2 here, we will write here 4x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 here. x3 is 3x1 plus 1/2 x2 plus 3 over 2 equals 2. So that means, so here we have 2x2 plus 1/2 x2, it is 5 over 2 x2. And we will write this here. We have 4x1 plus 3x1, which is 7x1, but it will be minus 7 because we convert here, so it will be minus 7x1. And here we have 2, so plus 2 minus 3 over 2, which is minus 1 over 2, or plus 1 over 2, because 2 minus 3 over 2. So we can multiply here by 2 over 5 to get x2. So x2 will be equals minus 7 times 2 over 5, which is minus 14 over 5 x1, and 1/2 times 2 over 5, which is 1 over 5. So this is value of x2 function of x1. And now we can get x1 by replacing x2 and x3 by its value here. So we have here 2x1 minus x2 here is 14 over 5, so it will be plus 14 over 5 x1 plus 1 over 5, so here will be minus 1 over 5, and plus 3 times the value of x3, so it will be 3x1 plus 1/2 x2 plus 3 over 2, and this is equals 1. So we can write it here. So 2x1, so here we have x1 here and x1 here and here, and here also we have 1/2 x2, so we can replace here the value of x2 here. So this x2 here, we can replace it by its value here, minus 14 over 5 x1 plus 1 over 5. So this is the value of x2 here. So this will be x1 here and x1 here and here, and also here x1. So this will be 2 plus 14 over 5. Here 3 times 3, which is 9, so plus 9. And 3 times 1/2 times minus 14 over 5 x1, which will be here minus, so minus 3 over 2 times 14 over 5 x1, 14 over 5 x1. So this or this is times x1, and this is equals, here the constant here we have 1 and plus this 1 over 5, so plus 1 over 5, and here we have 3 times here 1/2 times 1 over 5, and when we write it in this side will be minus, so it will be minus 3 over 2 times 1 over 5, and also we have here 3 times 3 over 2, and it will be also minus 9 over 2 over 2. So when we sum this part here, it will be equals, so over 5, 10 plus 14 plus 45, and here it will be, so this will be 7 because these two here, so minus 3 times 7 is minus 21 x1, and this is equals, and the other side here will be, when we divide here by 2 times 5, which is 10, so here will be 10 plus here multiply by 2 minus 3, and here also multiply by 5, so it will be minus 45. So that means this part here is, using calculator we get, so this is 48 over 5 x1 equals, this part is, so this part will be minus 36 over 10, and we can write here, so x1 will be equals minus 36 over 10 times, so we can multiply here by 5 over 48, so it will be times 5 over 48, and this equals, so we can divide here by 12, the 36 and 48 will be minus 3, here 5, 10 will be 2, so 2 times this 48 will be 4, so this equals minus 3 over 8. So now we get the value of x1, and to get the value of x2 we can replace x1, so it will be x2 equals minus 14 over 5 times x1 here is minus 3 over 8, this is 3, so this value here, plus 1 over 5, and this is equals 14 times 3 is 42, but here minus will be plus, so 42 over 5 times 8, which is 40, and plus 1 over 5, and this is equals 42 plus 8 over 4, because when we multiply here by 8 will be, so this 50 over 40, which is 5 over 4. So now we get x1 equals minus 3 over 8, and x2 is equals 5 over 4. And now we can get x3 by this expression, so we have x3 equals 3 times x1, which is times 3 over 8, so times minus 3 over 8, and plus 1/2 x2, so I have here 1/2 x2, so plus 1 over 2 times 5 over 4, and plus 3 over 2, so this equals minus 9, here 2 times 4, so it will be plus 5, and here to get 8 here we need to multiply by 4, so plus 12, this over 8, so this is equals, so this is equals 8 over 8, which is equals 1, and that means x3 is equals 1. When we replace these values here in any of this equation, it must verify each of this equation. So this method using substitution is a very simple method, but when we have big equation or when you have a big number of equations in our system, it will be difficult and will take a lot of time. So using the properties of matrix and benefit from our knowledge about matrix to solve this linear system or any linear system will be useful. And for that we need to express this in a matrix form. So A will be equals 2 minus 1 3 and 4 2 1 and minus 6 minus 1 2, and the unknowns vector x will be here x1 x2 x3 x1 x2 and x3, and the constant vector b will be 1 2 3.